Hello, my sexy muffins, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are doing Jimmy, who is a piece of poo from Mouthwashing, and we all know why he's a piece of poo. He's a narcissistic frick that R-worded people. Anyways, let's get on to the video. Now, for the person that wanted Jimmy's headcanons, and then I said no, not at right now because I didn't watch the game. I didn't know anything about it. Well, a few days later or weeks, I don't know when you asked for it. My partner wanted to watch Jacksepticeye's Let's Play of it with me, and oh my god, I am hooked. So someone else requested this. I don't know if they were the same person, but either way, here is a Jimmy. So let's do this. Disclaimer: Jimmy is insane and is a horrible person and a horrible piece of poo. He is not Yandere in canon. This is just for fun and not to be taken seriously at all. Simping for fictional characters, Yandere's villains and antagonists and such is fine. Just do not be illegal or gross about it. You know who you are. You dirty flaky biscuits. Yanderes are not ideal partners to have in real life. Neither are people like Jimmy. Also remember to separate fiction from reality and headcanon from canon. Thank you. Now disclaimer number 2. Jimmy and canon are worded on Anya. I hope I'm saying that right. And is not a good character or person in general, and he wouldn't be an even worse Yandere. Probably worse than Valentino from Hasbin Hotel, because at least Valentino is upfront about his poo behavior and doesn't wear a mask and such. While Jimmy basically is not and does wear a mask and is a it's way too much real than Valentino's over the top stuff. You know what I mean? Anyways, trigger warning. There is mention of SA and other stuff, as Jimmy is in canon not a good character or man, so he wouldn't care so much about the consent of your choice or your choice in the matter. This is a bit darker than I usually do, so please proceed with caution. Now let's get on to the video. And Jimmy is a very manipulative man and a narcissist. He fell in love with you and wanted you to be his and his alone. He is the type of Yandere who would want to have complete control over you and have you love him. He is the type of Yandere who is possessive, controlling, and is very much the jealous type. He would be possessive in that he does not want to share you with anyone at all, not even your family. You did not need your family when you had him. You did not need anyone but him. That's at least what he thought. He would easily manipulate you into thinking that you did not need anyone other than him, and that all you would have to do is depend on him and him alone. That is right. He will come up. This will come up. That is right. This will come up again and again of him being a super manipulative Yandere in this. He is this jealous type of Yandere, which ties in with his possessive Yandere side. Because he sees you as property and not as a person or a partner, that if you were to spend too much time with anyone else or get close to anyone else, he would get very jealous. In his mind, you don't belong. In his mind, you belong to him, and he does not like to share. So, of course, he would be jealous of the smallest things. Daisuke, well, I think that's how you pronounce it. Daisuke shares a sugar packet with you. You are clearly seeking out the rich kid to be, and I say kid, he's over 19. He's probably in his 20s, so yes, there. The rich young man. Swansea treats you like a father figure. You clearly are trying to replace him as the man you need to rely on in your life. You have sleepovers with Anya. This is where he really projects his insecurities and flat out would think that you are having adult fun time with her and cheating on him. As a narcissist and a Yandere, he is one of the most Yanderes that would project his own issues and thoughts on you and his rivals. He is a very delulu Yandere, being so delusional that he would be that that he would believe you are teasing him, also trying to make him jealous. He's obsessive over that, sometimes grabbing you and saying things like, knows I know exactly what you are doing, or that you would not get away with teasing him and making him jealous, and or making him jealous. He feels that he would be the better as a leader, and he would be the best on top to control not only you but of the crew as well. He then would be the hero and the man that saved the day. He does care for you on some level, and with that, he would try and make things right with you. In his own words, he thinks he is taking responsibility for such things, but really he's trying to frick with you and all of that, and it's making you very paranoid. It could go either way with how twisted his mind was. Sorry, I scrolled too far. There we go. He would be the type to manipulate you and gaslight you, making you feel crazy and that it is your fault that he is so jealous and controlling. If you were just good, you would end up being what he needed. Very toxic, not very demure, most certainly not mindful. He is a very selfish yandere and would put his concern with what you want or need and would sorry, I read that wrong. He is very selfish yandere, so he would rarely, there we go, put his concern of what you want or need. Also, he is the type of yandere that would be borderline forcing himself on you, may it be getting you under the influence of alcohol or the prescription influence and taking advantage of you, or manipulating and gaslighting you into having adult fun time with him, even though you would have tried to say no. In his mind, you agreed to it, so you wanted it, and you enjoyed it, so you have to have wanted it. He would even tell you this, gaslighting you into believing maybe you did want it and you just were being silly. Remember, this is a darker video because mouthwashing is very dark and Jimmy is a piece of poo. Also, he would be the type to blame if you were walking around the way you do and the way you were dressed, the way you are. You were pretty much asking for it. That is what Jimmy would think, because he did not see him as doing anything wrong. To him, you are his, and it did not matter if you consented or not, because in his mind, you were teasing him to rile him up. He is a real piece of poo, and one of the more worst yanderes that I've had to do on this channel. He would be the type of yandere who does not take accountability for his actions. He deals with rivals by more or less bullying them and manipulating them, or even physically removing them from around you. He can only think of himself, and once again, the projection game is strong. He knows that he wants you all to himself, so anyone that even looks at you too long, or anyone that gets close to you, it must be obsessed with you as well and not have ill intentions towards you as well, which means that it is his job to get rid of the rivals, to protect you. Most of the time, they are not even rivals in the first place. He's just very delulu, so that they cannot be close to you, and that he can be the one to protect you. He would go as far as unaliven them if he had to, and he would still see himself as the hero for doing so. He would tell you that he had been the good guy and was keeping you safe and sound. He would rather unalive than admit that he has ever hurt you. He will never be able to admit that he was the one that hurt you and that he is not good for you. He confesses to you one night on the ship, and he would most likely not take no for an answer. If you accept his love, it will go smoothly, but toxic as heck for the most part, and he would adore you more than anyone else, but he would still be toxic, and you would have to tiptoe around his extreme temper and narcissistic traits. If you reject him and make it out without being harmed by him, he would be super, super petty. He would be the type of yandere to play it off as if he was joking, and why would anyone want you anyways? That he could do so much better than you, and that you would have been lucky to have him. He had his ego hurt, and he was going to make sure you thought you were the unlucky one and that you would regret it. He does not give up on leering at you and desiring you, though. He would make sure that you regretted it. Mark his words, and that he would also make sure that you are his and his alone. Mark his words once again. In his mind, you were making him work for it, and work for it he will, and work for you he will. Side note, if you were in the game, he would have fed you part of Curly's legs like he did with the Curly himself. Also, he would have put you in the pod instead of Curly. Jimmy, my boy, is an insane and unhinged yandere. That is for sure, and he's one of the most toxic yanderes that I have ever had to written about. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see, and I will do my best to do it. I hope that you all enjoyed this once again. And now let's get on to Patreon outro. Patreon outro. Patreon outro. Thank you, Gav, for being my first patron. You are wonderful, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. Mwah. Thank you, Gav. I appreciate you. Welcome back. And I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see, and I will do my best to do it. And stay sexy, oh my sexy muffins. Bye bye. Secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro time, secret outro with a baseball bat. Welcome to the secret outro, and the secret outro question of the day is: would you smash Jimmy, yes, or pass him? I would smash like one night stand and then probably crush his family jewels. And would you accept his love? Hell no. He is super toxic, and even though, fun fact, a lot of borderline personality disorders fall for guys and girls that are narcissistic, so that's just a common experience with borderline personality disorder people. So I do have a love for toxic men that are narcissistic, but I would not want to be with them in a long term relationship because I'm choosing the healthy lifestyle. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this and stay sexy on my sexy muffins. Bye bye.